Oh, well, hello and welcome. Welcome to the solutions of Indian Statistical Institute 2025 subjective problems. Uh, so before we begin, so there are total 8 questions and I'm going to record 7 of them. मैं 7 record करने वाला हूँ in 2 sessions. 2 sessions में करूँगा मैं. And that's how it will be. So let's begin. शुरू करते हैं. So it begins with suppose f is a function defined from 0 to 1 to r. डिफरेंशियबल दे रखा है और if dash x का मॉड जो वो दे रखा है it's less than 1/2 for all x, then show that f of x naught is equal to x naught for some x naught. तो let's begin. शुरू ऐसे करते हैं कि that let me define a new function. मैं एक नया function define करता हूँ that g of x which is in fact f of x minus x. ऐसा मैंने कुछ नया एक function define कर दिया, right? And say that the contrary is true. Say that f of x is never equal to x for any x. So अगर f of x is not equal to x for any x, so it fundamentally means that g of x is positive. G of x is not equal to 0 for any x. Now think about it, that since f is differentiable and x is differentiable, so दो differentiable functions का difference is differentiable, therefore g is differentiable. And अगर g 0 नहीं है, तो either g ought to be throughout positive या g ought to be negative. या तो throughout positive होगी g की value या फिर negative होगी g की value. तो मैं कोई एक केस लेके प्रूव कर देता हूँ कि that's not possible. So case 1, say that g of x is positive for all x. Say that ऐसा कुछ कर लिया हमने. What we do know is that हमें क्या पता है? हमें पता ये है कि that g dash x जो है वो मेरे पास वो किसके इक्वल है? In fact that's equal to f dash x minus x. अच्छा ना think about f dash x. एक बार f dash x के बारे में देखिए. What's f dash x? So f dash x का mod is in fact less than 1/2. It means that f dash x is lies between -1/2 to 1/2, which fundamentally means that g dash x जो है मेरे पास, or rather ये मैंने गलत किया, g dash x should be equal to f dash x minus 1, not x. So what we know is that if this number is less than 1/2, then we know that this number is less than -1/2. ऐसा कुछ होगा मेरे पास नहीं. So we can say that g is a strictly decreasing function क्योंकि g का डेरिवेटिव जो है वो g is a strictly decreasing function. कुछ ऐसा आ जाएगा मेरे पास नहीं. So you agree to this. And now that we're done with this, so what you get is that say that g of 0 is something. So what's g of 0? G of 0 है क्या मेरे पास? So g of 0 is in fact f of 0 minus 0 according to our definition, which is simply f of 0. ऐसे कुछ है. And g is decreasing fundamentally. g कोई decreasing function है तो takes so there is 0, there is some x. Since g is differentiable, so first of all, g is continuous between in the closed interval 0 to x for any arbitrary x positive, and g is differentiable in the open interval 0 to x for any arbitrary x positive. So I'm going to apply the Lagrange's mean value theorem on g. So अगर आप g पे Lagrange's mean value theorem apply करेंगे, what you get is essentially this, that g of x minus g of 0 and upon x minus 0 is equal to g dash c for some c between 0 and x, right? Now what we know is that इसको ऐसा ही रहने देते, g of x minus g of 0, and in fact g of 0 is f of 0, we know this for a fact, and upon x, and we know that this is less than -1/2 for obvious reasons, because g dash x, we said that it's less than -1/2, and because f dash x minus 1, it's less than -1/2. Right. So what you get is, since x is positive, you can multiply by x. So you get g of x minus f of 0 is less than uh, minus x by 2 for all x positive, in fact, uh, you get g of x is in fact less than f of 0 minus x by 2 for all x positive. Now pick x to be greater than 2f of 0. अगर आप x को 2f of 0 से greater pick कर लेंगे, right? So this quantity turns out to be, so think about it, in fact x is indeed greater than 2f of 0, so then this quantity will turn out to be negative. Do you agree? So, which is a contradiction because we had argued that g is positive for all x. Yeah. So if you were to choose x to be greater than 2f of 0, and then this is bound to happen. It's entirely possible आप बोले कि यार x greater than f of 2f of 0 trivial हो ही सकता है because say that f of 0 is negative. तो अगर f of 0 is indeed negative, तो well, you reach a contradiction right at this point. तो वो contradiction simply यहाँ पे आ जाता है आपके पास. In fact, f of 0 अगर 0 भी आ गया, तो you get a contradiction right here because if f of 0 is greater than or equal to 0, so this quantity is less than 0 for x positive, which is a contradiction. But say that f of 0 is positive. अगर f of 0 positive है, तो take x to be greater than 2f of 0. So if this quantity is greater than 2f, if this quantity is greater than 2f of 0, so this quantity is negative, and which is a contradiction. So we are done. Contradiction. And we're done. So that's how it goes, right? Okay, so moving on to the second problem then. The second problem says that, so just a moment, मैंने वो case discuss नहीं किया है in which g of x is less than 0, and it doesn't matter. जैसे यहाँ वाला case discuss हुआ है, like same will be valid for the other case. It's almost mirror, you can mirror the argument, right? So the second problem says that the interior angles of a triangle ABC satisfy the equality, or equality is sine square A plus sine square B plus sine square C is equal to 2 cos square A or cos square B cos square C, and prove that the triangle must have a right angle. And so this uh, equality is quite intimidating. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to add maybe 2 sine square A, 2 sine square B, 2 sine square C on both sides. मैं दोनों sides में 2 sine square A, 2 sine square B, 2 sine square C add कर देता हूँ. What you get is 3 sine square A plus sine square B plus sine square C. अच्छा देखो, अगर आप इधर 2 sine square A, sine square B, sine square C add करोगे तो you'll get sine square A plus cos square is 1, and this is also 1, this is also 1, so 2 times 3 is 6. And in other words, you get sine square A plus sine square B plus sine square C is 2. Right, so what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to rearrange them a bit. थोड़ा सा rearrange करने वाला हूँ. How do you rearrange them? This can be thought of as that this is sine square B minus 1 is equal to 1 minus sine square C minus sine square A. This might look like haphazard and not so enlightening rearrangement, but it's not. So what's left hand side? Left hand side मेरे पास आ गया, it's minus cos square B. And this number is what? Cos square C. What this number is sine square A. Now, cos square C minus sine square A is cos of C minus A and the cos of C plus A. We know this, right? And this is equal to minus cos square B. Now this is equal to cos of C minus A. Now cos of C plus A is equal to minus cos B. So this is minus cos B. That's equal to minus cos square B. Now what you can do is that you can simply say that either cos B is 0, either that means that B is a right angle, or you get cos B is equal to cos C minus A, right? Now again, cos B is cos C plus A, negative of that, because A plus B plus C is pi, and that's equal to cos of C minus A, which would mean that cos of C plus A plus cos of C minus A is 0. So, which means that 2 cos C cos A would be 0, which means that either cos C is 0 or cos A is 0. In either case, the triangle is a right angle triangle, right? So that's part 1 of the solution.